Okay. This demo will be done in two parts. As you can see, I have two devices here, or you can't see them yet.
When you want to switch, we go.
Yeah. Okay. So this one is what you would get brand new in the box. It was never used. It's freshly installed. And this one is my personal node, which I use at home. Why this setup is because, as I explained before, we like people to fully synchronize the blocks from the blockchain. It takes about 2 days, and I don't have 2 days to make this demo, so. So I will show you the initial setup, which is literally 3 steps, and then I will switch to the one which is already fully synchronized, so you can see a selection of Lightning wallets which we are compatible with. So I can switch to the screen. Okay. Just a second. Okay. So when you receive the device, you just go to this address, which is nodo.local.8338. This will change in the future. We'll use the standard HTTP port. This is done for historical reasons. I will not spend time explaining that. And then step 1, you click on the logo in the middle of the screen. Step 2, you type in a password of your choosing. It only has to be 8 characters. There is no constraints on the complexity. And the setup is done. You can start using your device. So it comes without anything installed. As you can see, there is a selection of applications. It's kind of an App Store type situation. More applications will be added in the future. You put your administrative password that you just chosen, and then you can start installing services. So I will just install one to show you how it works. To enter a little into technical details, it's a 2-part software. There is the user interface, which is totally disconnected from the daemon which is performing the actions. So every time you click on something, it's sending a message through a database, and there is another process executing the action. That's why it looks like it takes some time, because the interface is refreshed only every 90 seconds. You can refresh it manually if you want to see what's going on. It may be pretty long because the internet is terribly slow here. So we'll just have a look what's going on behind the scenes. What it's doing now is basically what you've seen before. It's downloading the official Bitcoin D package. It's checking the checksums and the PGP signature of the package. And if everything matches, it's installing the binaries. If not, you will get a nice error message saying that something failed, and pretty much the details of what failed, if it's the checksum or if it's a download. So I think we'll leave this one where it is, and I will switch to the other one to show you some installed node. So this one I'm using since October, more or less. As you can see, it has Bitcoin D running and LND is unlocked and synced. Currently what we do is auto unlock, so when you restart the device, it's normally when you set up LND, you have to manually unlock it with a password. It's done automatically by the agent running on the device. This way, in case of a power outage, it's resuming operations by itself. So I will start BTC Pay to show you later how to set it up to accept Lightning payments directly on the box. And now we will go to this part here, which is the Lightning daemon, to show you how to connect a wallet. So I have Zap Desktop installed on my computer. I'm going to details and settings. Here there is a lot of useful information. I'm calling it Zap Quick Connect, Joule Quick Connect, and BTC Pay connection string, but actually this information can be used with many other wallets. Just depends on the protocol they are using. There are two protocols to connect to LND. There is gRPC and REST, and depending on the wallet, it's using one or the other. So for Zap, since the latest release of Zap Desktop, we can just use the automatic connect. You click on the link, it asks you to open Zap. Zap asks you to confirm that this is the node you want to connect to. You click next and you're connected to your node. That's how simple it is. And from Zap you can manage your channels. These are the channels I have open on my node. Maybe some of you can recognize yourselves here. And Zap has this nice user interface in which you see what is the local and remote balance very easily. And you can get some other information and close the channel if you wish. You can also create new channels. I don't think I have a lot of founds on this node, but let's try something very small. And there is this new option, keep this channel private, so it will not be broadcasted on the Lightning Network, it will be only between you and the other side of the channel. It can be a nice feature. Yeah, I don't have enough founds to open the channel today. Let's go back here. So that's one wallet you can use. The other one is Joule. For Joule, the process is slightly more complicated. First, you have to download two files using these links. And you have to copy this address. Then you go into Joule. So same story here. Joule is a Chrome plugin which allows you to make Lightning payments. The advantage of having it as a plugin is that if it detects a Lightning invoice in a web page, it's automatically proposing to pay for it. So we are connecting to a remote node, which address is this one. Demo effect. That's a quick fix. That's something which happens sometimes. We use Nginx as a reverse TCP proxy for LND, and sometimes this proxy gets stuck and you just have to restart it. This is something you will be able to do through the user interface in the next release. And you just drop the files that you just downloaded here. So I will use this moment to say something very important. When you set up a Lightning wallet, which I call rather a remote control for a wallet, since the real wallet is LND and not the program running on your computer or on your phone, it's asking you for the macaroon files. The macaroon files is the equivalent of almost the private key. It allows you to send any transactions, especially the admin macaron. So these files should be treated like a private key. It's a very sensitive piece of information. So now for Zap you don't need them anymore because it's using this LND connect string to connect, and it's storing it securely. For Joule, the admin macaron is encrypted with a password after you set it up. So after you do it, you remove it from your computer, preferably using some secure erase program. So now my admin macaron is securely encrypted in Joule, so I will just remove all these files. And as I said, these wallets are only remote controls for the LND running on the physical box. So as you can see, it's exactly the same wallet running on both, and I can do transactions on both. It will do exactly the same. So same story here. You can manage your peers and your channels. You can open new channels, and here you can see the details of your channels. It's a different user interface. Some people prefer one, some people prefer the other one, but they are functionally almost equivalent. Let's see if this one finished. This one is still installing. I don't think it will finish downloading the package. Okay, one other wallet I wanted to show you is Ride the Lightning. It's a web-based wallet which is running directly inside the Nodo. The interesting side of RTR is that their goal in life is to have the best possible coverage of the LND API. Currently it's around 70%, which is already great. And they want to cover 100% of the LND API, meaning that any action you could do with the command line, you will be able to do it through this web interface. It's since it's covering much more features, it's more complicated to use than Zap or Joule wallet, but it's really complete and you can really do whatever you want with it. And you can also use it as an on-chain wallet. This is the on-chain page. To send, receive, and do your usual operations using the on-chain funds included in LND to make transactions. This is a history of transactions. One interesting part is the forwarding history. When you're running a Lightning node with many channels or big channels, you can expect to make some satoshis on routing transactions for other people. So here you can see how much richer you are since you started running your node, which is probably something like 2 satoshis. Yeah, don't expect a big return on investment for this. And now there is a new feature which is called routing peers, and to show you how the team behind RTR is reactive, that's something which was asked by Andreas Antonopoulos himself, this feature. So you have a better view of how the channels are routed in your node. You can also create invoices directly from Ride the Lightning and from the other wallets. It's called request or invoice, depending on the wallet. If you want to receive money from someone on Lightning, you just enter some amount, request, and you have a QR code that people can pay to directly. So while we were doing this, BTC Pay server finished starting on my node. I will show you how hard it is to set up a store for, let's say, a physical business selling tea and accepting Lightning payments. So first I'm creating the first account you create on BTC Pay after you set up a fresh instance is a master administrator that can mess with all the server settings. And then I create a new store. So now my store is created. By default, it can't accept any payment because it's not connected to any wallet on-chain or off-chain. For on-chain, I would use my Ledger wallet and connect it directly to my computer, and it would import the XPub key automatically. And since now we are in a Lightning session, we'll go back to details of my Lightning node. And here we will reveal the connection string for BTC Pay, is the format they are expecting. It again contains the admin macaroon, which is protecting all the keys, and the TLS certificate. I just passed this connection string here, test connection, it's green, submit, and now I'm ready to accept Lightning payments. So last part, we'll create a new app, called it T-Shop type point of sale. There is also a crowdfunding module now in BTC Pay. Can be used for a self-hosted crowdfunding campaign. Like there are some sample items already. Just save. And here it is. If I have a T-shop, I can just use this to accept Lightning payments. I click on buy, and it will present me hopefully with a Lightning invoice. Or not. Okay, I can't fix that live. Sorry.
Keep going, but it's okay.
So
Okay, thank you very much. So we left the questions for later. Thank you, Michael.